Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. We're here live in Cleveland. You're set to speak tomorrow night. And again, all I want to do is have a conversation. I can't have a conversation with you if we're both talking at the same time. What it sounds like to me is that you're accusing me of violence and supporting something, a narrative that I'm not necessarily in support of. And if that's what you're accusing me of violence, then you can leave. That's not true. I don't support violence of any type against police officers, against anyone. So if you're accusing me of that, then you're welcome to leave. But if you want to have a conversation, I am more than willing to welcome a conversation with you. I don't disagree with you about there's a narrative across the country that could be harming police officers. But we don't know right now, as someone who's in law enforcement, if that was the actual cause of it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do we know that generally the American law enforcement officers are racist? Do we know this?
Go on.
I ask a question.
Do I know American general law enforcement are racist? I don't think anyone is accusing. If you're insinuating that people are accusing or saying that law enforcement across this country as a whole are racist, then your assumption is wrong.
First of all, this whole anti-police rhetoric is based on a lie. There is no data, and you know this. There is no data, there is no research that proves any of that nonsense. None. Even
you'd have to be more specific about what data and what nonsense you're talking about.
That law enforcement officers treat black males different than white males in policing in these organizations.
There is data
there is not data.
I don't know. The president spoke about it. Cedric Alexander,
the president has been lying about it. He said it again the other day when he said black males are 2 times more likely to be shot by a law enforcement officer than white males. Don, that is a lie.
That is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Yeah.
Show me.
Research.
Show me.
The research that we have from the Washington Post.
The Washington Post debunked that nonsense.
There's also research.
He also said this stuff.
There's also research.
He continues.
A Harvard professor that also showed that black people are treated more aggressively by police officers.
No, you are wrong in your interpretation of that Harvard study, because I read the study. That's not what he said. He said he was surprised to find
that in shootings of the most severe in shootings that he found no evidence that there was a difference. Also, it should be noted that study was a very small sampling of police departments across the country. Many people did not find it credible, but it is also interesting that in that research, he found that blacks were treated differently when it came to aggressive policing, but for the most egregious shootings, he found no difference. That's what that study showed.
Well, based on what? Just generally? Are we talking about high crime areas? Are we talking about police officers being under attack? Because let's go back to where this whole thing started in Ferguson, Missouri. The lie was hands up, don't shoot.
Lumping a whole bunch of things into one. If we
okay,
get one specific
that's
thing,
where this whole phony movement started. It started out as hands up,
talking about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, you would need to speak to someone who is a member of Black Lives Matter about whether they have perpetrated a fraud on the American people. That's up to Black Lives Matter. That's not me. I'm neither a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm either a supporter or someone who doesn't support them. I simply report on Black Lives Matter.
Do you condemn the anti-police rhetoric coming from this hateful ideology?
As a journalist sitting here on television, I don't have to condemn anyone, anything. That is something that you can ask other people around the country.
I condemn
their jobs to condemn.
Just like I condemn the hateful ideology out of groups like the KKK. All right? I condemn it. There is no place in American discourse for that sort of vile, vitriolic hate coming out of this ideology. This has fueled and fanned the flames of this anger toward the American police officers. There's only one group in America, one time, that truly cares about the lives of black people in these urban ghettos, and it's the American police officer who goes out there on a daily basis, puts their life on the line to protect who? Black people. So when you say we just want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about the black-on-black crime, which kills more black males, which is more of a threat to any black male in the United States than a law enforcement officer.
Sure. Yes, that's a different conversation. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's an issue when it comes to violence. Black on black crime, or black, it's crime. White people kill white people tend to kill white people. Black people tend to
not
kill black
in the
people.
numbers. Not in the numbers.
That's fine, but that's a different
I don't care
conversation.
who white
That is
people
a
are killing.
different conversation than police brutality. And we're not having that conversation right now. And again, I want to be very
Let me
clear
ask
with
you
you.
this.
I condemn all violence of any type.
Was
Just for the record.
was the situation between Mike Brown and Darren Wilson, was that police brutality?
We're not talking about Mike
Yes
Brown
or no?
and Darren Wilson.
I am.
No, if you're asking me what the Justice Department showed, the Justice Department showed that it exonerated Officer Darren Wilson, and that the hands up, don't shoot narrative was a false narrative. That has been reported by
And
CNN
that
and by others.
was another phony report.
What does that
was
have to do
debunked.
with Baton Rouge?
All right, because when you take in
What does that have
when
to
you
do
take
with
in
Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
rates of involvement in violent crime, in crime in general, but violent crime, you're going to see that black males are overrepresented.
Yeah.
Overrepresented in terms of being involved in violent crime. That's going to mean more arrests. That's going to mean more people going to prison. This stuff has already been debunked.
Sheriff, that's a different conversation.
Every
One that
time,
many people
every
don't-
time
and one that
you
many-
don't have a response to something I
It's
say,
not
you
that,
say
it's
it's a
not that
different
I don't have a
conversation.
response to, is that we're having two different conversations. I'm asking the questions here. You're answering the questions by asking questions about some other subject that we're not discussing.
We're
That
talking
is
about
not a
this hateful
conversation.
ideology called Black Lives Matter. You said you're not a member. You can't be a member. It's not an organization.
That's
There's no
what
structure.
That's what
It
you're
is
talking
an
about. And I
ideology,
understand,
and it is
and I
a hateful
understand that you're very
ideology.
I understand it's a very
These
stressful time for
individuals,
you.
these individuals,
And Sheriff, we appreciate you coming on.
they preach
Thank you.
vile and vitriol in the name of virtue.
Thank you, Sheriff. We appreciate it. We understand it's a very tough time. We'll be right back.